Warren, we have a little surprise there for you. If you look up to the right, you'll see a jersey and a number. We're retiring. Warren, appropriately, it's number 60 for 60 years as our CEO of Berkshire. Equally, it's being it's placed beside Charlie's jersey, number 45. Charlie was with Berkshire for 45 years, obviously our vice chairman and a treasured partner of Warren, and it's just reflective of a great partnership. Thank you, Warren. I'm happy to report both those jerseys will remain in the rafters for the years to come. So, great.
You know, Ajit spent some time on the stage today talking about how one of his keys is to do nothing when it comes to insurance, when it comes to writing insurance, which is the same thing that you have always talked about with whether to invest or not.
Yeah. The world is full of people that are offering you things to do. And then the question is to find one that you know makes sense. And there may be 20 out there that make sense that you don't understand, and you just leave them alone.
There's a lot of cash on hand, and you're still active in managing the portfolio, too, and looking at stocks. You're looking around, and you don't see a lot that you want to invest in.
No. Well, then we don't do anything. I mean, we've been in the... Of the 60 years I've been in the business, you know, there's probably 5 of them have been really juicy, you know. And I think it was Tom Watson Sr. of IBM that said, they asked him the reason why IBM had been so successful or something like that. And he said, I'm smart at spots, and I stay around those spots. And that's the whole thing. And IBM was in 3 different businesses, including time clocks and a couple of, and 2 of the 3 turned out to be no good. But so they just focused on the one.
What is it when you look around that it's just prices are too high at this point? I would imagine there are. Greg said this from the stage too. Yeah. There are businesses that you like, just not these prices.
And I would say I understand fewer of the businesses as a percentage of the whole than I did 10 years ago. I have not learned new industries for some years, you know, and so I don't kid myself on that. I'm not going to learn them. I'm not going to have an edge on, you know, a whole bunch of younger people that have actually grown up with them, used the product, seen things, but it. Well, as I mentioned, you know, you don't have to understand too many if they're like Apple.
Just looking at the macro stock market environment, what does this feel like to you? Does it feel expensive? Does it feel like there are opportunities in some places?
Well, it feels like, you know, I've compared the markets to a church with a casino attached. And people can move between the church and casino, and I would say there are more people in the church and more people in the casino. But the casino's gotten very attractive to people. You know, if you're buying one-day options or selling them, I mean, that is, that's not investing, it's not speculating, it's gambling, you know, just totally. And the quantity of those things is just incredible. So we've never had people in a more gambling mood than now, but that doesn't mean that investing is terrible. It does mean that that prices for an awful lot of things will look very silly. I mean, they had a squeeze in Avis of all things. Well, Avis has been around for 50 years, but just this past week, And we have lots more regulation and everything now, but people spend their time figuring out how to get around the rules rather than follow the rules. They're in the business of reselling something, or it's and it's a lot better if you're a good salesperson. There's no reason to be selling vacuum cleaners, or as well sell stock. You'll make way more money. It's where the money is, and there's more money around than ever. And
But the best opportunities have probably come when the macro environment leads to panic.
Most likely.
Right.
Well, the most likely time to buy things is when nobody else will answer their phones. Everybody else talks about their wonderful trading departments and everything. Just try them out. Sometime when markets are collapsing, they don't answer the phones.
Right. Do you see the circumstances building up anywhere that could lead to a time like that again? Is any sort of panic in the market?
Sure.
Where do you see them?
Well, if you saw them, they wouldn't happen.
Okay.
I mean, you've got all kind of, you don't worry about what people are talking about can happen. It's something that comes out of the blue. But something will come out of the blue.
Yeah.
I mean, a nuclear bomb can come out of the blue.
Well, let's knock on wood on that.
It doesn't do any good to knock on wood. That's that's the point.
Yeah.
It was the Archduke getting shot, in 1914 or something like that for World War. If it's something people are talking about and thinking about, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But there are things that can happen out of the blue. We don't know what can happen tomorrow. I don't like to talk that way to people, whether it's you or anybody else. I mean, because whether it does you a lot of good to worry about that, I don't think it does do any good to worry about it. I think it's good to be cognizant of it, but the worrying about it is terrible. I don't like to even cause that belief with people. I don't like to go around tell them the end is coming, or something like that.
Warren, let's talk a little bit about deep fakes, because the deep fake Warren that popped up early in this session was pretty good.
But today we'll start with Station 1. Station 1.
Hi, my name is Warren from Omaha. I've recently undergone let's call it a significant change in role. And I have, well, let's just say a not insignificant portion of my net worth tied up in Berkshire stock. Now, Greg, I've been watching this company for a while, long time, a very long time, and I've been telling people that I have no intention of selling a single share, not one. So my question is a simple one. I'm 95 years old. I've got nothing but time and cherry Coke. And I want to know, just so I have something to tell my fellow shareholders, why should they hold their Berkshire shares for the long term? Anyway, Greg, let me take it from here.
You've been concerned about some of these AI deepfakes and what that means for the world.
Yeah, I would be concerned if everybody was. Well, actually, the worst thing would be to have a really good imitator of any president that came along. I mean, just imagine. Well, yeah, we had that famous thing before, way back in New Jersey, where the Martians coming and everything like that.
Oh, War of the Worlds with Orson Welles.
What you can do, well, if you convince people to lend you money for it, you shouldn't be borrowing it. I mean, it's scary, and it's particularly scary when you have 9 countries or so with the nuclear weapons and people working on something even more. We haven't dealt with this. We don't know what's going to happen.
You know, Warren, there are thousands of people, shareholders and partners of yours for decades in some cases, who are sitting out in this arena right now. And I just wonder if there's a message you'd like to give to them.
Yeah, I'm not a religious guy, but I mean, nobody said it any better in a couple thousand years than that, which may be why it's lasted to a certain degree, too. I mean, you know, more people are reading a 2,000-year-old book about how to behave than anything that anybody's coming up with lately. If the whole world lived by the golden rule, it would be such a more wonderful society.
Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yeah, and that's true for everything from parenthood to being a boss to being I mean, just everything in life. And it doesn't cost you anything. In fact, it's reflected in better behavior toward you. So, I mean, it's a very selfish sort of thing in one sense. But I've never seen anybody that's unhappy that behaves that way. And I've seen a lot of people in a lot of different kinds of situations.